Avoid these 10 U.S. cities in 2026. America's most dangerous places revealed. Imagine waking up in a city where every siren and gunshot tells a story. Recent FBI data and local crime reports identify 10 U.S. cities with alarmingly high crime, poverty, and gang activity. For example, USA Facts reports that Memphis had the nation's highest violent crime rate in 2024, and Oakland led all cities in property crime. In the sections below, we examine each city's violent crime statistics, drug and gang problems, poverty levels, and law enforcement challenges, all backed by official sources, FBI UCR, police data, census, etc. The stakes are real. High homicide and theft rates, open-air drug markets, and strained police forces. City number 1, St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis consistently ranks among the highest per capita in violent crime. In 2025, the city recorded 139 homicides, down slightly from 151 in 2024. However, those 139 murders in a city of approximately 300,000 mean a rate well above the national average. Police say most homicides stem from arguments, robberies, or drug disputes. Abandoned buildings and chronic poverty north of Delmer Boulevard have long fueled gangs and violence in St. Louis. Nearly 20% of St. Louis residents live below the poverty line, with extreme segregation leaving black neighborhoods north of Delmer deep in disinvestment. Violent crime, 139 murders in 2025, down 7% from 2024. The per capita homicide rate is one of the highest in America, driven by gun violence in St. Louis' poorest neighborhoods. Property crime. St. Louis also suffers rampant theft and burglary. FBI data show its 2024 property crime rate was 5,707 per 100,000, including many carjackings and home break-ins. Poverty and gangs. Approximately 19.8% of residents are below the poverty line. Concentrated poverty and abandoned areas north of Delmer have bred gang turf wars and drug corners. Law enforcement. Police report a 61% homicide clearance rate in 2025, 84% including older cases, aided by community tips. Still, the city's small force struggles with overwhelming caseloads and turnover. City number 2, Detroit, Michigan. Detroit has made headlines for declining homicides, but still faces severe crime challenges. In 2025, the city saw 165 murders, its lowest since 1965, a 19% drop from 203 in 2024. That equals about 25 homicides per 100,000 people, down from 32 per 100,000 in 2024. Despite the recent decline, Detroit's murder rate remains many times the U.S. average. The city's neighborhoods have struggled with gang violence. Crips, Bloods, and local crews, and armed robberies are common around empty lots and liquor stores. Violent crime. Detroit's 2025 homicide rate, 25 per 100K, is the lowest in decades, but still far above the national 6 per 100K. Shootings and assaults remain frequent in hard-hit areas like the East Side. Property crime, retail theft, carjackings, and building break-ins plague the city. Detroit has experienced spikes in flash mob looting during periods of unrest, though recent policing efforts have aimed to curb it. Poverty and drugs. About 31.5% of Detroit residents live in poverty. Many neighborhoods suffer concentrated poverty and unemployment, which criminologists link to Detroit's crime. The city has also been hit hard by the opioid crisis and methamphetamine trafficking. Law enforcement. Detroit PD has increased patrols and prosecutions. In 2023 and 2024, the mayor raised pay to retain officers, and homicide clearances have improved. Yet the force is still relatively small for a city of 600,000, stretching resources thin. City number 3, Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore's violent crime and drug markets have long been notorious.
ICE is out here kidnapping our neighbors, murdering our neighbors, and terrorizing the most vulnerable working class members of our society, and we're all here to say no more. Enough is enough.
Its homicide rate is among the highest in the nation, though police report significant drops in early 2025. A recent analysis by the Council on Criminal Justice found Baltimore's homicide rate was the highest in their sample of 32 cities, despite a 24% decline in the first half of 2025. The city is infamous for neighborhoods like West Baltimore and Sandtown, where poverty and gangs thrive. Violent crime. In 2022, Baltimore reported 284 murders. By 2023, it fell sharply, Pew data, and was lowest in a decade. Nonetheless, shootings and homicides still occur daily in many neighborhoods. The Council on CJ notes Baltimore's murder rate remains among the highest of comparable cities. Drug gangs. Baltimore serves as a hub for heroin, fentanyl, and cocaine trafficking. In early 2025, city and federal authorities broke up multiple drug networks. For example, police dismantled 3 West Baltimore drug rings tied to a July 2025 opioid overdose event, seizing firearms, cash, and heroin, fentanyl packets branded 550. Poverty. Roughly 20.1% of Baltimore's population lives in poverty. Decades of economic decline have concentrated poverty in corners of the city, correlating with violent crime. Law enforcement. Baltimore PD has increased community policing and collaborations with federal agencies. A summer crime plan in 2025 mobilized dozens of special units citywide. Clearance rates for shootings have improved, but high caseloads and officer attrition remain challenges. City number 4, Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis frequently tops crime rate charts. In 2024, it had the highest violent crime rate in the U.S. at 2,501 incidents per 100,000 residents. The late 2025 reports showed historic drops, down 47% in homicides year over year. The city's crime problems are deep-rooted. Gang-related shootings and robberies are common in areas like Binghamton and Orange Mound. Violent crime. FBI data for 2024 put Memphis at number 1 nationwide for violent crime, especially aggravated assaults. In July 2025, MPD announced murders and assaults hit 25-year lows, but that followed a 2020 peak of over 200 homicides. Property crime. Memphis also ranks near the top for property crimes. In 2024, its property crime rate was 6,899 per 100,000, with widespread car theft and burglaries. Retail theft and auto theft rings are a known problem. Poverty. The poverty rate is approximately 22.6% in Memphis, proper 36% for children. Long-term poverty correlates with the city's violence. Public housing projects and under-resourced schools in the city fuel cycles of crime. Law enforcement. In early 2025, Memphis Police Department hailed a 25-year low in crime across major categories. Targeted initiatives, anti-fugitive task forces, gun crackdowns contributed. Still, MPD admits it needs to sustain those gains by improving community trust and staffing. City number 5, Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland has seen recent drops in violence, but still faces serious issues. After a 2020 peak of 180 homicides, Cleveland recorded 105 homicides in 2024, a 39% decrease from 2023. However, the city's homicide rate remains higher than the national average, with many shootings in East Side and central neighborhoods. City leaders credit increased police pay and the RISE initiative focused on high-crime areas for the decline. Violent crime. 105 murders in 2024, down from 116 in 2018. Non-fatal shootings also decreased from 3,061 in 2021 to 2,468 in 2024. Cleveland's recent homicide count is well below pandemic highs, But an average of 100+ murders a year is still a serious problem. Enforcement. Mayor and police say raising veteran officers' salaries and expanding patrols helped. In 2023, they made 726 arrests and seized 390 guns in targeted summer operations. Crime analysts note Cleveland's improvements mirror national trends. Drugs gangs. Cleveland has active drug networks distributing heroin, fentanyl, and meth. Law enforcement is working on dismantling street gangs involved in trafficking, supported by federal grants. Poverty. Cleveland's child poverty rate remains very high, over 40%, and many neighborhoods have 30 to 40% poverty. While we lack a citation here, official reports agree that entrenched poverty correlates with Cleveland's crime hotspots.